Hello everyone, it is Brianna Ray from BriIY and I am here to share with you another video. Today's is going to be a little more complicated than some things I've done in the past. I like to aim towards easy, and I definitely think this is easy, but I am going to be kind of making everything from scratch, and it is going to require two different mediums. This is actually something I saw online. I cannot for the life of me find the original picture that I found, but it was like a little embroidery hoop that had been cross-stitched in with pixel art of, I want to say, a Pokemon, probably. And then after they had done that, they had like a little, I don't know, eye hook, I guess, kind of hanging out the bottom with a perler bead ironed on like tail that continued the picture. And I thought it was the most adorable thing in the world, and I have to have one. So I decided to go through and, pull out all of my perler beads and pull out some colors of my embroidery floss, which for some reason I cannot say, but I really wanted to see if I could recreate this using my personal favorite Pokemon, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. I kind of want to play this game, so see if you can drop in the comments based solely on these colors what you think my favorite Pokemon is, and yeah, I think it's time to get started. Alrighty, I have got my pattern, I am ready to go. I've got some cross-stitching fabric, Aida fabric is I think what it's called. I'm very not certain of that, so don't quote me on it, but I think it's A-I-D-A is how it's spelled. Cross-stitching, which I have done in like a vlog on my channel before, but never completely or done any like tutorials on it. It's basically, instead of regular embroidery where you just kind of do lines and a variety of shapes, cross stitches is entirely embroidering with little X's or like diagonals. You can see it's got all these tiny squares on it so that you know where your X's go, and your X's kind of fill in squares just like you would fill in like pixel art on perler beads. So I think this is going to be a very easy connection here. So I'm gonna finish wrapping this in, cut off the excess, and then show you the basic stitches before going into a hyperlapse. Right, I'm gonna start with my orange thread here, and as you can see, embroidery floss normally comes with 6 strands. I am going to separate it into 3 and 3, kind of pull it all the way down. This way it's not so thick, and also it increases the amount of thread I have. And of course I'm gonna string it through my needle, and then I'm going to show you how I make my pattern on the embroidery hoop so that I can embroider my design. Just a little tip I've learned from doing embroidery and cross stitch for, maybe a year or so now, probably 2 years at this point, but I never knot on my needle like I would if I were sewing. I find it's unnecessary and again adds extra bulk and possibly extra holes or extra big holes to your fabric. So once I've got my fabric here, I'm going to take my disappearing ink marker. Obviously you could use a pencil. I've done a pencil in the past before I got this, and that worked fine. I was able to erase it on this really stiff fabric. And what I'm going to do is I am going to take the water soluble side. This is air soluble, so if I just leave it, it will completely disappear, but this one will only disappear when I mark it with water, which is what I want. So I am going to go through and I'm going to center my design, look at my pattern, which I will leave up here again, and I am going to basically just cover over all the boxes that have the color that I want. So I'm going to start with this orange, so I'm going to go mark all of the boxes that are orange, and then I'm going to cross stitch all of those first. Alright, I've marked out all of my orange, and I did make a little mistake, so I used the purple to kind of indicate where I am not supposed to go. But in short, you can see I've got all these little dots here, there, and everywhere. And I'm going to poke up at the bottom left. I don't know if this side actually matters, I guess it doesn't really, but I personally am going to poke up at the bottom left of one of my blue dot squares and pull all the way through until my thread stops. And then I'm going to go into the top right. This is like a half cross stitch, and you can see it kind of forms just a little diagonal. And in order to complete it, I like to go in through the bottom right. Oops, make sure I go up through the right hole. Pull all the way through. and then go up, left, pull through, and there you have a little X. And that is basically what I'm going to do over top of all of these blue dot squares, until it's completely filled in, and then I will move on to another color. And 2 very long back-breaking hours later, I'm officially done with the first part. I've got all of the cross-stitching done, and honestly, it is too tiny. I know it's too tiny. I need to have like the mini perler beads to make it work on this scale. I should have just, expanded the squares and done like, over the course of like 4 of the little squares instead of doing 1. It's way too small. So I guess what I'm thinking to kind of still make it look like it's connected is do like add this little like push pin hook here instead of like at the very bottom. It feels uncentered too, which it very well may be, but I don't know. It's not perfect. It's not exactly the way that I wanted it to turn out, but I bet I can still make this work. It's time to move on to the perler beads, and I don't feel the need to chat too much about this. I think it's just time to hop into the hyperlapse and get her done. And there we have the tail all done in perler beads, ironed nice and flat and pretty. I really wanted it to fill in the holes as much as it could, and I think that this side probably looks just a touch better, so this is the side I'm going to go with. And I have it attached to this thumbtack that at first glance I thought was like an eighth note, like music note kind of thing, which, I mean, heck, it might be if you look at it the right way, but I think it's a hook. So I took this little hook and I left a little hole in there so that it would have somewhere to go. And now the way that I've seen this done is it kind of dangles off the bottoms, and boom, I have what, if this were down a little bit further, what would be a really adorable little mixed media piece. I don't know, I guess this is the best way I can describe it. Obviously this didn't go exactly the way that I wanted, but honestly it's still kind of cute. I might get some twine and like hang it up and like take a video of it on the wall. Let's do that and see how that looks. Okay, I take back every bad thing I said about it. It's actually really cute. Obviously it doesn't have the exact look of, the tail coming from behind the Pokemon kind of look, but oh, it's really cute. I actually really like it. It's different. I feel like this isn't something that I've seen a whole lot, and I think it would be really, really cool if I were to do something like this, but maybe more like aesthetically. So like maybe I had like a stars or like a sky kind of look up here, and then had like a moon or like a star or something kind of down from it. I think that this is a really cute and creative kind of like, I don't know, it's just a fun little craft. I really can't say that there's any purpose for it or any reason why I like it so much. I just really do, and honestly, I hope you guys were a little inspired by this as well. And with all that said, I wanted to thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, feel free to like and subscribe. I put out new videos every Sunday at noon Eastern Standard Time, and I would love for you to be here for the next one. Thanks again so much, and I hope to see you then. Bye!